Hey Team Dyess, welcome back to News Ab Alto. I've been out for a while after my recent injury during the great Nerf debacle of 2016.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time, and who can say...
But I'm back and almost fully recovered. Ouch. I'll be your host, Airman First Class Drake Lehman. We've got some good photo and video stories this week, a look at Dyess Theater's free movies, and an important interview about keeping your wingmen safe. Did you get a chance to tango a little bit at the Air Force Ball? Well, I've got two left feet.
Really, dude? You took my... Really?
So dancing was going to be a little bit difficult. But if you missed out as well, we've got some storied photos to showcase what we missed. Senior Airman Kadisha Pennant and Airman First Class April Lankto caught more than a few airmen dancing with the best of them during the 69th Air Force Ball. More than 550 Dyess airmen came out, swung out, and chowed down in the name of fun, force, and esprit de corps. The Air Force recently implemented the new Green Dot program to help increase the safety of airmen everywhere. In this day and age, unnecessary violence is prevalent but almost entirely preventable. And Senior Airman Shannon Hall wrote about the prowess of the various strategies you can implement to keep yourself and those around you safe. And violence was rarely as prevalent as that of the Vietnam War. The veterans who had the privilege of returning home often found themselves carrying more weight upon their shoulders than when they left. It was a tough time in American and world history, and as a war many considered without purpose. But that isn't true for those individuals who witnessed the atrocities of war, rifle first. Airman First Class Sean White took one man's story of war and history and created a thoughtful, concise, human view of the war seen through one man's eyes. A rifleman in the Marine Corps who suffered the loss of his brothers and returned with the memories of his many experiences overseas. Dyess leadership honored him and many of his comrades for their sacrifice, and in the end, he found a degree of closure which helped him ease the burdens of war. A few weeks ago, I had the distinct pleasure of traveling to Colorado Springs to witness the opening game for the Air Force Academy Fighting Falcons. Abilene Christian University even showed up and played a pretty good game. We got the W though. But it was the flyover conducted by some awesome Dyess pilots that really stole the show. First Lieutenant Ryan Dukes, one of the C-130 flyover pilots for the game, recounts his storied history at the Air Force Academy, his pride to fly for the 39th Airlift Squadron, and a touching remembrance of his greatest mentor and friend, a mother who had nothing but love and pride for her outstanding son. Stories like these and ones even more unique can be found on our Facebook, YouTube, or website at dyess.af.mil. If you're looking for some fun this weekend without having to pull out anything more than a little bit of pocket lint, well, there are several movies you can catch at the Base Theater. This weekend you can indulge your classic Halloween fix with Friday's showing of Hocus Pocus at 1900. On Saturday, solve a fishy mystery with Finding Dory at 1400 and get spooked by The Conjuring 2 at 1900 the same day. The following week you can even look forward to Bad Moms, The Legend of Tarzan, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Spooky! You know, movies can be a great way to relax after a long day, especially when you're sitting next to that special someone. But what would we be without the love, support, laughs, and lessons learned from our friends and family? No one is a one-man army, no matter how strong we may think we are. And sometimes life can be trying. Sometimes the very people we rely on for help are fighting hidden wars within themselves that we don't get to see. In an effort to bring this problem to light, Technical Sergeant Nicholas Phillip sat down with Captain James Salas and discussed the ongoing fight for suicide prevention.
So the captain here is going to give us some things about like signs and symptoms, things we can look for within our wingmen, and then some of the options available, how we can address it should the issue arise. So, Captain?
Yes, thank you. So, suicide awareness, of course, it is a very serious subject. You know, a lot of times, you know, you're with a coworker and then you see them and all of a sudden they start acting differently, right? So they start looking a little bit, you know, down, depressed, or maybe just irritable. So you ask those questions, right? Because we get all the briefings, ask the question. And you ask them, hey, how are you doing? And they'll probably say, I'm doing okay, or I'm doing all right. And sometimes we just leave it at that. But it's important to kind of dig a little bit deeper. Seriously, what's going on? You'll be surprised how often people will acknowledge and say, yes, I am having thoughts about hurting myself. There's been plenty of times where, we're walking down a hallway or we're just passing each other by and we do the courtesy, how are you doing? Sometimes we wait for a response, sometimes we don't, and then we just kind of keep on walking. But really pay attention to your coworkers. If you see something that might be an issue, just ask them. If you don't feel comfortable, let somebody know. Again, you can just bring them to mental health and we'll ask those tough questions.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
If you or a loved one, friend, acquaintance, or anyone you know has been battling with the thoughts of suicide, you can always call the mental health clinic at 325-696-5380 or the 24/7 National Suicide Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Committing suicide prevents you from improving your life and devastates those who care for you. And in case no one else tells you today, you're a champion in your own right. Life sucks sometimes, but you have to deal with those hardships to truly enjoy the days that do bring you that happiness. Reach out to someone. Team Dyess, have a fun, safe weekend and keep in mind the things that matter to you most. Until then, we'll see you next week.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All our latest stories can be found on dyess.af.mil.